Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Welcome back to the Infowars Nightly News. We're joined right now by our news director, Rob Dew, and you have some Sandy Hook updates for us right now. I understand this is the second Freedom of Information Act hearing on Sandy Hook,
right?
Yet they still refuse to release the documents that were requested by Wolfgang Halbig. What's going on?
Well, it seems to be a lot of the, I guess the strategy they're using is saying documents don't exist. So there's porta potties that are there, but there's no documents of the city ordering them or paying for them.
All right.
There's an electronic sign there that says everybody must check in, yet there's no check-in log. So if there's a sign flashing that says everybody must check in, you would think there would be a check-in log where people are checking in. Does that make sense? Kind of makes sense to me. Okay. Why you would bring a giant road sign there that says everybody must check in and then not have a log stating who checked in.
Agreed. Mm-hmm.
All right. So who put that sign there? Who paid for that? Well, yesterday during the hearing, it came out they had one of the town, they call him the selectman, who's actually an older lady, and she says, we don't have any of that information at all. And so the lawyer goes, well, who put that sign up there? She goes, well, Homeland Security, I think. She actually said it was Homeland Security. So then that is a bigger ball of wax to get into.
What time did they first notice the sign? Because the tragedy, occurred, 10:30 in the morning?
Yeah, early in the morning, 10-ish,
okay.
10:15, 10:30. The first thing that I've seen, and there's probably other videos of this sign out there, but is when the older gentleman, Gene Rosen, is being interviewed by Fox News at 2:30, and there's a sign back there flashing saying that everyone must check in. And we showed that with the last clips of Sandy Hook footage that we put out from the first hearing. And so Wolfgang's stance is that these things don't just appear by themselves. There has to be a paper trail.
And he would know he's an expert on all this.
Right. He's a school safety expert. He was an administrator for many years. And then the other deal is with these kids going on a field trip to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be an approval for that. My kids can't get on a bus to go across town here locally unless there's a permission slip.
And it's like that nationwide.
That's how schools are.
Yep.
That's how schools are run. So for the school district to say we don't have permission slips for kids going on a trip, well, that means one of two things. Either they decided not to get permission slips for kids, which violates all kind of liability laws.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to be transporting kids without permission slips, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, or maybe those kids weren't actually from Sandy Hook. That could be the other thing. And then there's this whole ruse of how is the mainstream media saying these kids are from Sandy Hook, they're here in the Super Bowl singing. How do you get there? How does that work? That just blows my mind.
But a lot of these are basic questions that aren't being answered, and it's like, why all the secrecy? And it makes it sound very odd.
If you want it to go away and you're sick of people bringing it up, then give them the documents they ask for and move on with your life. So actually, let's just go to the clip here of the town select woman saying Homeland Security put it up. Here it is.
Directing your attention, please, to request number 8. It's for the sign-in log referred to on the traffic sign posted outside the Sandy Hook Elementary School on 12/14/2012. Do you see that?
Yes.
All right. Are we able to locate a copy of the sign-in log?
No.
Do you know whether or not the sign-in log was placed on the traffic sign by the town of Newton?
It was not.
And was it ever given to the town of Newton?
It was not.
No further questions.
So let me understand this. There's a sign in, there's a sign, flashing sign that says everyone must check in. But the town didn't put it there. Who do you think put it there?
I believe Homeland Security put it there.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Now, let's go back to the question regarding...
Well, hang on a second. I think the response to Mr. Halbig is completely incorrect. There's no evidence whatsoever that the first selectman was here voluntarily and said anything.
It is what it is. The testimony
anything
is what
inappropriate.
it is.
And I think the mocking attitude
thank you.
is completely uncalled for. And I ask that it stop immediately.
All right, so very interesting. Why would she say Homeland Security?
Right, unless she was working with them in some capacity. And right after that, the lawyer kind of clamps down and says, oh, we can't go here, this line of questioning. Or he didn't like the outburst that Wolfgang made, like when he said thank you. You know, because if the town doesn't have it, then Homeland Security must have it. And so I guess that's where he'll go next to see what Homeland Security
only time will tell. I think what was very interesting to me was small world, because come to find out, and you probably weren't aware of this until after the fact, but you had a family member that was there, someone that was former Navy SEALs, former FBI. Mm-hmm. You said that he recognizes BS when he sees it.
Right.
What was his thoughts on the hearing?
All right, so I get a picture from Dan Badandi was there covering the whole event, and then he texts me a picture, and he's standing next to my uncle, my dad's older brother, and I'm like,
what the heck?
This is what? How is Dan Badandi standing next to my uncle?
Yeah.
I text him back, and so this morning I actually talked to my uncle, and he said, out of all the court cases he's ever sat in, he's retired FBI. Mm-hmm. He worked in New York City. Been there, done that. Yeah. He was putting mob guys away. Sure. Or helping at least, or investigating, and he said out of all the court cases he's ever seen, this was the weirdest one of all time. He said these people in this small town don't know anything about this event that's supposedly the biggest event in their history, and they have no paper trail. There's no paper trail for anything, which he said just boggles him. He said it was the strangest thing he's ever seen. And actually, Dan did a real short interview with him after that. He doesn't talk a lot. He is very reserved, but he did tell me this. He said he went up there because a friend of his said, you got to go up there and check this out. There's something weird going on in Sandy Hook, because he knew nothing about any of this, of what we know and what we've been talking about here at Infowars. He just kind of took the byline from the media, whatever they said, he just went with it. But then when he went up there, he said, there's no reason for all this secrecy. If they want this to go away, just pass out the documents. So here's a quick interview from him. I guess Dan interviewed him and asked him a couple questions. All right, Badandi.
And what do you think? You witnessed the whole hearing here. Was you here last time too?
No.
No, but being here today, what did you think of the whole thing?
Very strange.
Very strange?
Very strange situation, yes.
Yeah, no, so what do you expect to come out of this? You think they're going to try to cover this up, or is this going to go anywhere?
I really don't know. I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, and it's great to have you guys come out here and support this, because, tyranny is being done right now, and justice is being done at the same time, so we got to stick on the right side of history.
So that was Dan Badandi there on the ground at the hearing in Connecticut. And I want to flash back real quick to a Connecticut State Police news conference. This was shortly after the tragedy. And you probably remember this. They were warning people not to post any bogus information about Sandy Hook on social media, or else.
One thing that's becoming somewhat of a concern, and that is misinformation that's being posted on social media sites. These issues are crimes. They will be investigated statewide and federally, and prosecution will take place when people perpetrating this information are identified.
So that was a distant early warning for, I guess, Sandy Hook conspiracy theorists, if you will. They didn't want anybody posting and talking about this on social media. They want to control the narrative.
It kind of reminds me of what happened with the Boston bombing, where the FBI got up and said, don't look at any other pictures except the one we're posting here of these two guys with black backpacks, even though one of them didn't have a black backpack. He had a gray backpack.
Nothing to see.
And then, yet there's pictures of, 20 other people in the crowd holding black backpacks.
And if you ask questions, you are dishonoring the victim's family.
Yeah, anytime you ask questions about anything, and Wolfgang's whole thing, why he was going into this, is how do we not make this happen again? If this is a real tragedy, what do we do to prevent it from happening? Exactly,
and he's just asking normal questions that anybody else would ask, and it's just very odd that a lot of these average normal questions are being blocked.
Right, and what really got his radar off was when the Florida state troopers came to his house and said,
yeah, that's right.
Don't be asking questions. Right. Well, what are you doing? Keep your mouth shut. So that set off red flags for him. And I think anybody, and with his background, he that probably sent that spidey sense tingling. Sure. So from here on out, it looks like there's going to be a third hearing now, because they didn't finish all the information with this hearing. Yeah. Dan Badandi actually went and confronted the police chief, who incidentally retired recently. Chief Kehoe, he just retired. And so he went out and confronted him, and he confronted the lawyer also who's working with him. So very interesting stuff going on in Sandy Hook, and it looks like we still have more questions than answers each time we ask for a Freedom of Information request. There's always more questions at the end instead of getting the answers that you would think be there in normal situations. So there you go.
Wow. So, well, stay tuned, folks, because I'm sure we're going to have Hal Big back on the show soon to give us his take on all this, on the latest hearing and when the next one is going to be. Meanwhile, we're going to wrap this up right now. That's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. Infowars Nightly News will return, Lord willing, tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, Texas time, that is. Until then, have a blessed evening. We'll see you back right here tomorrow night.
Infowars Life and InfowarsLife.com is extremely excited to announce our latest release, Winter Sun, a revolutionary type of vitamin D3. Winter Sun is a premium quality vitamin D3 nutritional supplement. It is produced by extracting oil from healthy, nutrient-dense plants known as lichens. Every batch is analyzed for purity and D3 content. It's completely free of toxins and allergens. Simply put, if you want the best at an extremely low price, this is it. Winter Sun is the result of our pursuit of the best source of vitamin D3. The research and development took over 2 years, but the result, as verified by independent laboratories, is the best vegan vitamin D3 product in the world. Read the facts at InfowarsLife.com about Winter Sun Vitamin D3. Not only does vitamin D3 promote a healthy mood, but vitamin D supports our memory and brain function, something the globalists are targeting. Visit Infowars.com today or call 888-253-3139.
You are watching the Infowars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfowarsNews.com. And your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.